Hello and welcome back to Deconstructed. I'm your host, Sam Animo Mackenzie, and with me is a rather hairless Harry Nero Richards.
Oh, yeah, he's just gone straight in. Just draw attention to it.
Yeah,
No one's even
well,
watching the video, and then they just click the video
no,
and see
they
the
are
schlep.
now. Just to have a little giggle at you.
Thanks for that. Yeah,
Been a little while since we recorded an episode. You've had a little holiday. Nice holiday.
yeah,
Okay.
the other day.
Okay, well I don't care that much. Let's talk about a Counter-Strike thing, shall we? Let's get into it. We've been chatting shit for too long already. So today, finally, we're going to talk about Cloud9.
Yeah,
And,
I mean,
it's been a while. It's been coming. We've said it since about episode 4. It's now episode 10. Let's have a little dive into the background of Cloud9. Obviously, big stars of the online era. You've still got to say it until they actually win fucking anything reasonable. Got two of the best players in the world, maybe, kind of. Like Shiro's pretty good. I won't take that from him. Axar's not that guy, pal. I don't care what you say. He's not that guy.
okay.
He's not that guy. But they have a rather horrendous IGL. Absolutely 0 ratings from me on Nafany. And this year has been quite disappointing for old Cloud9. Have missed out on the major. A few disappointing runs other than that, and it looks like finally they're making some changes. So should we just get straight into the changes in the original report, or is there something you'd like to say about Cloud9 before that? Maybe you want to defend your boy Axile, or say why Nafany isn't the worst.
I mean, I'm not going to offer anything fresh on defending Axel. It's just like it's quite hard to be a rifler in this system, isn't it? To be fair, it's quite hard, and I know it's like I think we should realize that Nafany, he doesn't have like 100% influence in the way they play. Like it's not just him. Like when we're bashing Nafany, we should probably mention Groove a lot as well, and Shiro is a huge part of their calling as well. Like it's not just one person defining everything wrong with their team, and like you can blame Nafany for Axel jiggle peeking every angle, but that's probably just the way Axel plays as well. Like they've all come up together. They all think about the game in the same way. It's not just Nafany, but with new blood, well, we see. Nafany might stay. Nafany probably won't stay. I think like from the most recent leaks, Nafany probably won't stay, and that seems like that'll be good for everyone to kind of like when Astralis kicked Carrigan. I think just getting in a bit of new blood, new system.
There's the narrative. There's the fucking Harry Cloud9 are just the new Astralis narrative.
This is the TSM episode, bro.
Oh right, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about that original report then, the one where Nafany was staying. So report comes out, Electronic and Perfecto coming in, supposedly replacing Hobbit and the biggest sideways move of all time, Buster. What do you think that change would bring to the team if you then are left with a 5 of Shiro, Axile, Nafany, Electronic and Perfecto?
I mean, it's much better, right? Just because Buster is such a non-factor in every game he plays. Like, he's just
rubbish.
It's like sideways is actually harsh on Inters, because Inters had so much chemistry with the others, and he was quiet. He didn't make any problems. Like he did his thing. And yes, he was kind of shit in big games. But then that's kind of all of them are. Like they weren't losing games because of him, really. Like it's more important for the other players to step up in those big games. Like it's not, you can't blame Inters for getting 8 kills and horrible roles. So yeah, I'm glad Buster's gone. I think that was just a mistake. And getting Perfecto, that's huge. I think that's such a big upgrade in that role. Like it's just, he's the best CIS role player, easily. Like easily. Right, and it'll just fit it straight in, and he doesn't have to do what he did on Na'Vi, where they were trying to make him like a 3rd star because everyone's struggling, like everyone's bottling. Like, if we're talking about this particular 5 where Nafany stays and Electronic is just rifling again, it's like firepower is crazy, like really good. Because you kind of free Electronic up, right? Like I'm assuming that if Electronic's not IGLing, then Electronic is fragging. And maybe that's the wrong assumption to make. Maybe Electronic just is gone. I don't know. I don't know on that one. I don't know what you think. Do you think Electronic still got it?
I mean, look, I'll answer that, but I first want to take issue with the idea that firepower is crazy. I don't think it is crazy. Okay,
on.
maybe in a group stage, and then you get to the stage and Axile's on it, and his fucking hands are shaking every time he's trying to fucking jiggle peek, and fucking like Perfecto's good, but let's not yeah, okay, he's an upgrade on Inters, he's an upgrade on Buster. Let's not pretend he's that fucking good, because if he was that fucking good, his rating would have skyrocketed when Nafi put him in better roles. Like, he isn't...
Yeah.
Like, I really like Perfecto. Like, I was high on Perfecto a long time ago when certain man, you, was telling me that I was overrating him slightly. Yeah, you told me that. And Elliot told me that. Multiple people told me I was overrating Perfecto, and I was like, no, he's just in a role, and he's very fucking good at the role. Like, which actually is kind of unlike you, but anyway, like...
Yeah, I don't remember this.
Above all, they've still got fucking Nafany. The bloke's fucking handless. Like, nice.
He's not... It's the thing where, in that team, he's kind of fine that he's handless. But yeah, we'd both prefer Hobbit to stay. I think Hobbit staying and Nafany going and that Electronic calling, and that is the more likely one. We shouldn't dwell too much on the idea of Nafany staying, because I don't think it's that likely.
Hang on, I didn't answer your question. Electronic still has hands.
Yes.
I don't know why it was a question. That's why I didn't even answer it. But yeah,
he's just been struggling a little bit.
That's not
this year. Yeah, well, he's going to be IGLing this team probably.
Hopefully. But yeah, I like the firepower is better with Hobbit. That's where we
crazy firepower, man. Like, you need the 4-man core. You got Shiro. Shiro's, you know what I think about Shiro. Literally device regen. My guy. Like an Axel will get over his choking thing when he has an IGL that is better. He will get over it. Like, it just happens. Like, he's very young. He's been fine a few times. Like he's had one good stage event really, and Cloud9 won it, and he was MVP. Like, it's as simple as that. Like when Axel's on form, this team is crazy. And Electronic and Perfecto will be there when Axel crumbles a little bit. Like even fucking Zyro at the major. Zyro is like struggling a little bit, and then Dupree like pops off. That's what Cloud9 have lacked when Axel and Shiro have gone missing. They don't no one, because I think Hobbit has been worse than he was in the online era. I think that's fair to say. And Hobbit used to be the guy that stepped up when those two were bottling a bit. But Electronic and Perfecto will be able to do that like bread and butter. Electronic is such a big game player. Like, you got Axel carrying you in groups and then Electronic carrying you in playoffs. Like, you're telling me the firepower's not nuts on this team? Come on.
I just think there's better.
Who? Man for man. Go. Teams.
G2.
Okay, m0NESY Shiro. It's probably m0NESY. I'll have to hold back my agenda and say m0NESY. Axel, Nico.
Nico. It's Nico.
Probably Nico. Hunter, Electronic.
Hunter.
Yeah. JKS, Perfecto. I'd take Perfecto.
Perfecto's probably better at his roles for JKS.
But
then it's like, about firepower,
Hobbit Hooksy. Like, come on, man. Like, I think that the ones that G2 win are close, and then like Hobbit is your 5th player. Like, Perfecto's your worst player. Like, come on.
Oh yeah, maybe though. Like, if we're talking about that, we're not talking about that 5. We're talking about the 5 with Nafany.
Okay.
Like, we're talking about it with Nafany, and then it's actually just it's very similar. But I think the thing.
Very similar to the team that has the most firepower in the world. Like,
say FaZe also probably has more firepower.
No way FaZe has more firepower than Cloud9 or G2.
Dude, maybe Cloud9.
Rops is the only one who can compete with Shiro and Axel. Yes.
I'm not going to argue it. It's not the point of the episode. What I am going to ask instead is, so in a 5 where Nafany's still the IGL, what would you want to see from Electronic? How much responsibility in terms of mid-rounding and things like that would you like to see from Electronic? Because you've already said, Shiro, big part of calling and all that. Like, do you hope that Electronic would at least come in and tell the team to use flashbangs? Like,
well, he's going to throw a lot because that's all he does anyway. He's been IGLing for too long now. He's just going to be throwing loads of flashbangs, whether they want them or not, and that'll be good. But yeah, there is that concern of if it is those three, like that's a lot of voices. That's a lot of people who have very strong ideas on how to play, and we know that Nafany and Shiro disagree quite a lot. Like Nafany actually basically said as much when they got eliminated from the last event before the break. Like that interview was crazy at Washington. That was really crazy. He came on the desk and he was just like, "Yeah, the players just don't trust me anymore." It was like, this is why I refuse to believe he's staying. I can't believe he's staying. But yeah, I think that if he does stay, I think Electronic would be mid-rounding a lot. Electronic would be disagreeing with him a lot, and then before you know it, he's gone anyway, and he's been Nukendard. Like,
well, I was going to say this. Like,
I don't think they see this game like it's hard to completely say from the outside that Electronic wouldn't be able to just maybe take a bit of a backseat, but I don't know. I don't know if he will.
The thing is, once you've been in IGL, to let go of IGLing is very difficult. It's very, very difficult. And I think even if he did, you're looking at like if at the next tournament this team has fucking Nafany in the squad as the IGL, I promise you he will not be the IGL by the Copenhagen Major. He would just.
I agree with that. I don't think he can stay.
He wouldn't even last that long. Like he's gone by Christmas, because it just won't. It won't work.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the like secondary reports, the reports that came after, where actually it turned out that I feel like I might be imagining this, but I'm sure there was a point where it just said that Electronic was just like, no, I'm not playing with Nafany. And then,
it was a Harumi Telegram message. Yeah.
Right, that was it. Yeah, and then there was a report then that it would be Buster and Nafany gone, Hobbit would be staying, and you'd still be getting Perfecto and Electronic. And we've already sort of spoke about that team, but how good do you think that team could be?
Just way better, I think. Way better. Like, Electronic is... I think he'd be so good for Shiro and Axel. Like, so good. He's got the calming presence. Like, I think Flamey said he had the best comms on Na'Vi as well. Like, it's just that he's got that level of experience. Like, you'd listen. I think part of the problem is that Shiro and Axel probably don't respect anyone on the team that much at the moment. Like, but if Papa Electronic tells you to do something, you're gonna do it, right? And I think that'll help them. That'll help them.
Sorry, it's just more the Papa Electronic.
Who was that? That Charlie thing? I think that's a Charlie thing.
Yeah, please don't say that again.
I won't.
It was cute, but
yeah, come on. Like, it's the thing of, I think both of them would be so good for the actual whole team. And Hobbit, I still think Hobbit is a little bit iffy. Like, I'd probably rather have an IGL instead of Hobbit that isn't Nafany, but then it's like there's not a lot to go for. Like, Jerry's available, but I feel like if Jerry was going to be picked up by one of the teams, he probably would have done already. As much as I rate Jerry, and there's not a lot else really. I think Electronic, from that Harumi tweet, it didn't seem like Electronic was like, fuck Nafany, I hate Nafany. It seemed more like he wants to be IGL, like he's just committing to captain now. I think so. So I think Electronic will probably be calling, and then you can see. I don't think Hobbit's terrible. Like, Hobbit's fine. Hobbit's a fine player.
There's nothing wrong with Hobbit. I don't get the
like, he's dropped off.
Hobbit's so bad. Like, there's nothing.
He's
wrong
not bad. No, he's not bad at all. He's just like worse than he was in the online era. He's not the third star that they needed, but he doesn't need to be the first star in this fight if Electronic can be that guy, and I think he can. Like, I think it's Cloud9 must be like I think Overdrive tweeted it's like 2 million, which is like insane. I'm not 100% sure that's true because Cloud9 literally dropped Yay like quite recently saying they had no money, so I'm not sure it's as much as 2 million, but it's such a great opportunity for them. And I think it's Electronic and Perfecto who initiated, right? Like, they're the ones who wanted to leave Na'Vi.
Well, yeah, who knows what's going on with that?
Yeah,
one.
Who knows? But that's what Overdrive tweeted at some point, and it's and those two wanting to come to this team and nurture the next generation of talent that's so good for them. I really think We're going back. Electronic can be their glaive.
I just like.
Can you not see it? Can you not see it a little bit?
Okay,
Come on.
this is something. Look, if we're talking about like historical narratives and like history rhyming and all that bollocks, like yeah, of course I fucking see it. Like you'd have to be like fucking blind to not see that. But
No.
I think there's slight risk involved in not getting Jerry. Like Jerry is a certified IGL with a great track record per the pieces he's had. And when I look at Electronic, I still just don't understand Electronic as an IGL. Electronic as an IGL seemed to me something that was always born out of necessity. They wouldn't get another Russian because then it would, even though there's a very strange thing with the flags where suddenly only 2 Russian players in the world don't have a fucking Russian flag, which is fucking ridiculous, by the way. Like, if there was a good Ukrainian IGL, if Sundar Young had decided he could IGL fucking a year ago, Electronic would never have been an IGL. Never.
I don't think that's true. From what they were saying at the time, it seemed like it was something that he always wanted to do.
Oh,
from what Blade was saying at the time, I think the Blade factor is a big one because Groove does not seem to be like Groove has given this team a lot, but I think I agree with a lot of what people are saying around him at the moment, which is that emotionally he's not really there. It doesn't seem like he's not. Like, I think this team would really benefit from like a Robban type coach, like someone who can just pick you up in bad moments. Groove doesn't do that. He sits there and writes on his notepad. Groove needs to be a GM and then needs to get a proper coach.
Well, so this is the thing I wanted to say.
See the game the same way as Electronic.
Like, I wanted to say this. It's like, okay, Electronic's been an IGL now for a year and a bit. What the fuck have they achieved?
I mean, there's a lot of factors in that.
Yeah, okay, but like, he still had Simple, he still had Bit, he still had Perfecto.
Half of Simple, less than half of Bit.
Oh, come on. It's still... Considering the inconsistencies that we see in top-level CS that we saw for most of that year, like, half of that year, are you telling me they still couldn't have won an event? They still couldn't have gone further than they did?
Yeah, the real ones, damn it.
Absolutely could have. And you can say this whole, like, Electronic always wanted to be an IGL. There's an interview out there where Twist said he wants to be an AWPer. You ever seen Twist AWP? It ain't fucking pretty. Like, this is the thing. I still worry about the quality of Electronic as an IGL. And yeah, I know at some points he hasn't had the fucking pieces. I didn't think Sundar Young was particularly great. Perfecto obviously isn't what they ended up trying him to be.
Do you think you're being...
Nipple was fucking useless. But without Blade, Electronic might legitimately just be dog shit. There is a good chance of that.
There is a chance. It's a big leap of faith, but I really want to be optimistic about it. Do you know what I mean? Like I really...
Yeah, because
I think Electronic... Because think about how good this team is with Nafany IGI.
Yeah, but...
Like, Electronic doesn't need to be Prime Carrigan, okay?
Hang on, no. Hang on. I ain't having that, actually. I gave it a year.
They're like a top 6 team in the rankings.
They're fucking rubbish.
yeah, they're rubbish for their pieces.
Yeah.
They're not rubbish. They're not fucking EG, are they?
It's not think about how good they are with Nafany IGL. They're not that good.
They are good.
Anyone can have a fucking
They got to the final of Pro League like 2 months ago. They just bottled them.
Meme tournament doesn't count.
Yeah, so's the RMR. The RMR's a meme tournament too. There you go. Counter that.
Counter what? That the RMRs are a meme tournament.
Yeah. Rob Daxel.
Well, maybe if they won a best of 3, that'd have been fine.
Yeah, there is that. There is that. But that's beside the point. I think Electronic IGLing is still enough of an upgrade on Nafany that this team can win tournaments.
Well, you'd hope so, because you'd hope the system would change. You'd hope it would change to a point where suddenly on the fucking T side they're throwing a flashbang for each other and not having a team fucking double AWP against them. Like, double AWPing ain't a fucking thing anymore. It don't happen.
If it works against you, you're doing several things wrong.
So yeah, if it's working against you, especially the way it worked for fucking FaZe in that Mirage map at, I can't even remember where it was, Dallas?
Yeah, I think so.
Where they fucking
over here
demolished them. It was like a fucking, 13-2 half?
Yeah, Twist just getting like 20 kills with AWP. It's casual.
Like, that can't happen. It can't happen. So yeah, Electronic coming in instantly makes it better if he's the IGL, because suddenly he's going to be throwing flashes, and Perfecto will probably throw a couple of flashes, and like they will get like shouted at in very classic Russian team ways if they don't throw flashes. But I do think there's risk involved, and yes, you raise the firepower. Like, Perfecto is definitely a better player than Inters, which absolutely makes him a better player than Buster. Electronic, far better, like, fragging wise. But if Axile and Shiro are still your stars, like, it still could be a big risk. And the one thing that I thought was really interesting,
it's so low on those two, it's crazy.
The one thing I thought was really interesting when I was just looking through the roles and stuff, Vertigo's been a bit of a home map, Cloud9, for a while. Like, they've been very good at Vertigo. No, if you don't play it.
No.
So, if they come in, does that become their permaban? They could be very good on Nuke. They absolutely could be very good on Nuke. Perfecto's a great floor player. Like,
pretty good floor player. Electronic outside as well. Kind of hot.
Yeah. Like, I don't really know where you put the other pieces.
Axel can go ramp. He's fine now.
Yeah. I'd probably put him main, maybe.
Nah, Axel's like the starring guy. Axel's the Quesaro of the Robs. Stick him ramp. Stick him ramp for Hobbit main. Hobbit and Electronic should rotate in this team, I think. Axel gets the star anchors roles, and then Perfecto gets the shit ones.
Yeah, alright. Yeah. But that could be that realistically that could weaken Cloud9's web pool. They could.
Yeah. Virgo is the home map, but I think Shiro is good enough on it that like they're probably gonna have a weird situation where like Shiro probably calls on Virgo for like 6 months or something. Like Blame F calling on Mirage for Astralis. And obviously that's terrible. That's terrible. I think they'll keep playing Virgo.
Then what does the permit ban become?
I think they should be smart and ban Inferno.
Sorry?
Because, I think way more teams should be banning Inferno and Mirage. I think it would help them a lot. Like they'd lose a lot of Inferno games. I'm not actually. I'll check the stats for this year, but it feels like they lose a lot of Inferno games. And everyone is so comfortable on Inferno. Like, think about Cloud9. They're the Zuma team. They're like Shiro and Axel are like grown up on Virgo and Ancient and all of that nonsense. Like, they're really good at Mirage. Keep Mirage fine. They're a tactical team that should be good on Nuke. Like, if you're a good CS team, you should be good at Nuke. Like, if you can't play Nuke, it's because your system's bad. I don't care. Like, I don't care.
Yep.
You just need to be able to play Nuke. They're good enough to be able to play Nuke. Ban Inferno. Ban the Puggy map where you just get your best players naded to 50 HP every round. Just get rid of it. Inferno leads to close games where you have no money, high pressure rounds all the time. It's not good for this team.
Oh, and Axel
get rid of Inferno. Just get rid of Inferno.
Axel can't be doing that. Get Axel away from the fucking
Axel can't jiggle peek up and out, can he? Fucking hell. Like,
don't let the bloke play on a stage either then. He can't handle that. Like, come on.
Yes.
I agree. Like, I'm not disagreeing with you.
I think that's the move. I think you ban Inferno and play Nuke and Virgo. Just say you're going to be shit for 6 months.
You presented a good argument.
The thing is, Sam, sorry, not to cut you off, but I have cut you off because this is the reason this offseason is so nuts is because the major's so far away, right? They don't need to be good in the next 3 months. They need to be good in the next 7 months. And they can get good at Nuke and Virgo in those 7 months.
Yeah, they could, realistically.
So I think it'll be fine. It's going to be fine. This team, I'm hitching my wagon to it. I think Electronic Perfecto, Shiro, Axel is a nuts 4-man core that could stay together for at least a few years. And as long as CS2 isn't dog shit, which it might be, I don't know.
It is.
It might be dog shit. As long as it's not too dog shit. Like, I think we'll have CSGO for a while still. I think we'll probably play CSGO LANs quite a lot. This is... Shiro and Axel will make it. They'll make it through their issues, because at some point you get so good that you're just playing, and the opposition start to play differently against you. Like, all they need is a few events in a row and people play differently against them. At the moment, people don't show them any respect once they're on stage.
Yeah, I mean, they'll probably get away with a little bit at the start because people, won't have much to go off, won't really know what to expect, and that'll probably work in their favour. But I don't know, man. I want this team to be good. Like, I really like Heroic. I quite like Vitality. They're obviously the elite teams right now. G2 will always be in the contention of an elite team. FaZe will always be in the contention of an elite team. Fuck knows what this Na'Vi team's going to be like. Fucking, that could be hilarious. It would just be nice if there was a guaranteed, fifth team that was it's not Liquid last year, where it's but they're making playoffs every event. Like, they're getting top 4 quite a lot. It's like, oh yeah, but you ever seen them win a semi-final? Which I know
we don't need to worry about Liquid anymore. That fills me with pure joy.
I know they did that once or twice. They had a couple of finals, but come on, they were never in the fucking event. They just were never going to.
It would Cloud9 nice final. Who wins?
Well, now Elige is gone. Probably Liquid.
No chance. Not Patsy. Patsy and Yukinder on the same team. I could rage for half an hour about that. Don't. It's insanely bad.
Fucking Pro League final against Vitality. How is Elige?
Well, Elige was rubbish in that.
Elige, the lowest rated player in the server across 5 maps. Elige, bro. Okay, doesn't matter. Not the thing. I'm now going to ask you the most redundant question of all time after establishing that Cloud9 could actually be a 5th elite team. Which is better, the original report or the second report?
Get Nafany out of there.
Get him the fuck gone. No, it's
okay. We should be, because I don't want to be reductive about it. I try not to be reductive about it. Nafany is very, very young and did a lot of very good things in the online era as an IGL. This isn't the end of Nafany, but I think he needs to go to a different team and maybe have to reinvent the game a little bit from his style book, like playing with different players who like different things. I think that'd be good for him. And you never know, he might come back in a few years and be the best IGL in the CIS region or whatever. I can see that happening. I don't think he's rubbish. I think he's just... It's got stale. This Cloud9 team has got stale, and they're blaming him, and they don't trust his calls anymore. And once that happens, you just gotta go. You just gotta walk.
Nafany should just go an entry for Jerry. Just let Jerry teach him how to play the game.
Yeah, thank you. I'm fine with that.
I'm not even joking.
He'll probably end up on Bet Boom with either Elfie or someone. I don't know.
We spoke about it in the Fallen episode though, the idea of Fallen teaching art, and you had a good giggle about that. But Jerry could legitimately teach.
Yeah, but I think Nafany's more malleable than Art. Nafany is similar to Art in a lot of ways, but he's got way less faith in himself, and I think that's actually a bit of a flaw. Sometimes Nafany is too deferential to his players, but whereas Art is just I am right all the time, and that makes him harder to work with. I think Nafany could go and learn a lot of things and come back and be good. It's not the end of Nafany. It's the classic thing where, because the narrative around him is really funny, we lean into it and acts like he's the worst player in the world. He's not the worst player in the world. He just needs a little bit of a retouching for a year or two, I think.
Wait, so if Electronic is Glaive and this is TSM, does that mean Nafany's about to go on the Carrigan arc?
That would be a lot of fun. And then they're going to play in 6 months. They're going to play in 6 months, and Nafany's going to let Nuke in and batter them on it with Bet Boom.
With fucking Flamey's on the team.
Yeah, get him involved.
Edward in,
Who's
Oh.
easy?
I don't know. I
Yeah, we
don't
can
know.
go so deep.
Okay, so a slightly less redundant question. How good is this team going to be? Is it going to be the best team in the world? Is it going to be top 3? Is it going to be top 5? Is it going to take a little longer for anything like that?
I think with those 4 players, you've got to aim to be the best team in the world.
Okay.
I think Shearer's that good. I really want to say Shearer's as good as Monassi. I really want to do it. I'm so close to saying it, but it's just
It's not true.
You have to hold back a little bit, but I think
he's not even
is.
He's not even as good as 2023 Device.
I think it's Device simple vibes for sure. I think Shearer is going to be as good as Device was in that spell, and it's just if he has the team around him, and I think he will have the team around him. I think Axel. Oh, it's one of those. You always expected Nico to get over his playoff thing, and he never did. So I'm probably a little bit too. Like it's not as easy as I'm making it sound for Axel to get over his choking thing. Like, of course, it's kind of just part of you, to be honest. Like, but he's so good, man. Like, I think if they get a more emotional coach in, probably need a few sports psychologists and all of that, which is probably quite hard for Cloud9 to do because their in-house one is like speaking English. I'm pretty sure they've talked about that before or something. Like they don't have as much support because of the Prussian team and an American org and stuff like that. It can be tough for them. They've all had to move to Serbia, I'm pretty sure. I don't know. Maybe I'm waffling. I'm not too sure. But they've got a platform now. They're settled, and I think Electronic and Perfecto have so much experience. It's going to be so good for Shearer and Axel. And I think that's just the pieces just fit. Whether it's Hobbit or Nafany, the other 4 just fit and need to stay together. Like, that's a 4-man core as good as G2's and as good as the old Na'Vi one, I think. Honestly.
Maybe.
Maybe. Leave it on a maybe.
I do agree. Like
this team should be good
in the world. They could be the best team in the world. It'd be silly to pretend they couldn't, but I think realistically, you just have to hope for them to be top 5 for a while, and then maybe top 3, and maybe
we can get a waterfall.
What happens after that? Like, I think it will be a steadier growth rather than they just get there. But if they win the tournament before Copenhagen, well then clearly history says that they win Copenhagen.
I think we could get a little waterfall thing, because you just need to just break through the glass ceiling once, and then you fly. You're absolutely flying.
Oh, like Heroic did.
That was different. That was home crowd buff.
Okay. Yeah.
Heroic winning. Well, Heroic may have broken it again. We'll see.
Again.
Yeah. There's just another glass ceiling every time, and the glass ceiling is down.
Brilliant. So before we depart, you seemed a little worried this morning because of the price tag that's been floated by Overdrive. What if it does all fall apart? What are you looking at doing then if you're Cloud9?
Christ.
It has to be Jerry.
You can't even think about it, can you? If they can't get Electronic and Perfecto, like, what do you do? I mean, I'd just get Buster out for Inters straight away, so straight up, or Siren or someone. Just get rid of Buster. Waste of time. Nafany. Who else do you get? You have to go for Jerry, right? You have to. You just have to go for Jerry. If you can't get Electronic, you have to get Jerry, I think. Like, it's so silly if they don't.
Yeah.
I think you definitely keep Hobbit in that scenario as well. So it's like you swap. But that just is just so much less sexy, isn't it? Like, if you have Jerry, like a Buster, Siren, Hobbit, Shearer, Axel, it's just not as fun. You need a third star. I think they need to find some crazy Russian whiz kid third star out of somewhere, and it's probably worth waiting for CS2 to do that. Like, I'd probably do that even if they get Electronic and Perfecto. First nuts Russian kid who's sick at CS2, put him in for Hobbit. I don't care, just do it.
Yeah,
just do it. And I think that's
makes sense.
But yeah, I honestly, because we've not heard anything about the coaching situation, I am a little bit worried. I think Groove should definitely be more of a backroom guy. I want someone who's more like someone who's more emotional. I think they need that. They need an emotional leader in the team. Electronic
just sad in-
probably can be a good emotional leader, but it's like it's very hard. He's gonna have a lot on his plate because they're still gonna need him to be a third star.
Yeah,
but if it clicks, there's gonna be no stopping him.
Unless Down decides that he can play on stage, and then we'll really be cooking going into CS2. Who knows? It's a lot of speculation, but that's all we're ever doing here. So let's allow everyone else to speculate. Leave a comment down below. How good do you think Cloud9 could be, and which change would you make if the purse strings aren't big enough for Electronic and Perfecto? With that, like the video, subscribe to the channel. We'll be here next week. We'll find some shit to talk about. Maybe we'll talk about the death of North American Counter-Strike and how it's deserved and Counter-Strike owes them absolutely fucking nothing. Maybe we'll do that. Who knows? Anyway, I've been Sam Animal Mackenzie. He's been Parry Piro Pitchard's got it in at the end. And we'll catch you next time.
Hopefully my hair will have grown.
Hopefully.
Goodbye.